Hey, what's up everybody? Ralph here. So today's topic I want to talk about tax refunds, all right? We got tax season upon us and I know everybody's excited about getting that refund check. But even though that's something you shouldn't be too excited about, because if you're getting a refund check, that means you're giving the government interest-free loan on your money, right? And you don't want to do that, right? But that's another topic for that's another video for another day. Today we're going to talk about 6 ways in how to use that refund check, all right? So the first way, number 1, is putting it towards retirement. Okay, like as you get older, you don't want to have to rely on Social Security. All right, so Social Security checks are supposed to supplement your income as you retire. All right, you got to find ways to be able to make sure you're surviving and you're living comfortably as you get older and you retire from work. So a good way to do that is you want to make sure you're putting it into an IRA, a 401k, anything that's focused on making sure that once you're retired, you have income to help make you last throughout your lifetime. A lot of people tend to focus on use the Social Security, but obviously we know that's not enough to live by. So we want to make sure that we're focusing on making sure that we're putting money in our retirement. So when we reach that age of just relaxing and we don't have to worry about working, that we're taking care, we have income to take care of ourselves, right? Number 2, the second way to use your tax refund is paying off credit card debt. Now, obviously, we're looking at right now, we're living in a time where there's inflation, all right? So this is one of the most important reasons why you should be trying to knock off credit card debt. Credit card debt is one of the most expensive debts that you can have. The high interest rates are just killing your money and is taking money away from you. And one of obviously one of the best ways to kill your wealth is through credit card debt. So it's important that you want to make sure you're taking away your debt. You want to pay down that debt if you got credit card debt, and if you got that tax refund coming, make sure to use that money to pay off that debt, because you don't want to be giving money away to a credit card, because that's almost like if you were putting money into a stock return and you were getting 15% interest on that money. I mean, that's a good return, but imagine that now you're giving that to a credit card. We don't want to do that, right? So you want to make sure if you got that refund check, make sure try to make sure you're using that towards paying down credit card debt. It's going to be one of the best ways. It's going to be the best returns on investment on your money. All right. Number three, the third way that you can use that tax refund is building up an emergency fund. Now, usually most people will recommend that you put anywhere from 3 to 6 months of expenses as your emergency fund. But if you're someone that's you're just starting out, then you want to at least start off with 1,000, because I think I read a report where about 56% of Americans don't have, if there was an emergency, $1,000 emergency, they wouldn't be able to cover that emergency. Now I found that's just ridiculous. Like that's just unacceptable. So you want to make sure at least you're starting off with 1,000 and then build up to that 3 to 6 months expenses. So let's say your expenses are like $2,000 a month. You're gonna want anywhere from $6,000 to $12,000 in that emergency fund. So first start off with 1,000. Let's build up to 1,000, so you're not part of that statistic, and then build up to the 3 to 6 months. So if you got that refund check, make sure the first thing you're trying to do is just to load up on that emergency fund, all right? Number 4, make sure save up for big ticket expenses. So let's say you're trying to save up for a car, or maybe you want to buy a home. You want to put a down payment. Now, I would recommend that you obviously you focus on putting 20% down on a house so you can avoid that PMI. But if you don't have that, then obviously you can go for FHA and just go for the 3.5%. But the thing is, the easy thing is to get that refund check. Make sure you're saving that for a down payment if you're looking for a home. Obviously, the goal is to get to that 20%, depending on what your savings look like. If you need that, if you can use that refund check so you can get the 20%, that's great. But if you want to just do it for the 3.5%, that's also great. So just make sure you're putting that refund in, and depending on what your area, where you live, and the average cost of the area of the homes around your area, whatever that average cost is, you want to get 3.5% of that average cost, and then make sure you save around that money so you have the money still to put for the down payment, right? So number 5, the 5th way to use your tax refund is look into buying stocks, okay? I know obviously when it comes to buying stocks, it's more, you got to be educated, right? Don't invest in something you don't understand. And I would recommend, obviously this isn't financial advice, look into index funds. All right, so a lot of people, index funds is basically like, S&P 500. You're basically getting a piece of a bunch of companies in the S&P 500 instead of like investing in one big stock. So let's say you invest in like Google. If it goes up, you're going to make a lot of money, but if it goes down, you're going to lose a lot of money. But with the index fund, it pretty much follows the market, and you're getting a piece of, you know, Google, Apple, Microsoft. So you're getting a piece of all those companies together instead of just focusing on one stock. So obviously your returns aren't as great as it would be if you had an individual stock, but your losses aren't as big as well if you had one stock. So I mean, if the fifth thing is focus on learning about stocks and educate yourself, and because it's a great way to build wealth as well. My recommendation would be like to focus on index funds, and then if you want to learn about individual stocks, that's something you want to get educated on. Like again, this isn't financial advice, but this is something that I do myself. All right. And the last thing to do, number 6, the thing you should do with your tax refund is invest in yourself. There's so much information out there, and the best way to invest in yourself is you want to develop that financial literacy. The best way to do that is by reading books, watching videos like you're doing now. You want to make sure you're educating yourself and understanding and building up that financial literacy so you can help build wealth for yourself. That's the first place it starts. That's when it comes to building wealth, it starts up here. Okay, not in your why. It starts up in your understanding of how money works. So, you know, read books, watch videos, educate yourself on how money works and how to build wealth and investing and all types of things. And that's what you should do. There's so much information in books. I try to read a book, at least a couple books a month, just to educate myself so I can like present and educate people on YouTube. So the best way to do that is just invest in yourself by reading books, educating yourself, and developing that financial literacy. All right. So that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys found that helpful. If you got any comments or questions, make sure to leave a comment down below, hit the like button, and do not forget to subscribe. All right. So you guys take care and have a good one. Later.